It is definitely true that the really universal guides know more about a person's dream visions than any of the modern sciences who have monitored people while they sleep. The authorities of today have no idea to the cause and how a person's dreams come about, nor do they know how to enter the dream arena and assist each person with their overall needs. Their mechanical devices and conclusions are mainly of this world and do not totally penetrate into the 4 other subtle bodies each one of us has that relate to the levels of the psychic drones. You touched on that, didn't you, Val?
Yeah, the 4 bodies, the 4 other bodies that we carry around with us. I mean, people take them for granted that, well, I can feel, I can think, I can remember, but these are actually, on the other dimensions, they're actually bodies that have their own life. They have, you could have another family on the astral plane. You could have more than even one profession or activity or that you're doing, because we're multidimensional. So people are taught to be so literal that this is all they know is the physical, but once you are the risk taker, and even if you're not, even a lot of people can be lucid dreamers or know how to soul travel and leave their body and explore these regions. And but it's once you do that, it's best to have real guidance, and that's what the real guides provide, is real guidance, so that you don't get mixed up in some psychic activities that it's not good for you, or because these things, there's vast regions. The physical is vast, with all the stars and space and all that, but the other regions, like the astral, is so much more bigger, and then the causal is even bigger than that. So creation is huge. It's a big place, and you can get lost very easily there, and you can get sucked back into something that is not necessarily good for you, and you can spend lifetimes doing something. So the real guides are here to assist in bringing you into the nowness that life is, so that you don't have to go back into these regions of creation and basically suffer. I mean, you'll have good times, so you have good times, bad times. You have the whole experience, but it's good to be a round and round kind of activity, and the idea really is to get out of creation and because there's a lot better places to be. It's not a place, but it's a beingness, it's an awareness. So that's the adventure again, to leave the personal self. You can utilize it and use it and have fun with it, but also be indifferent to it, because the real awareness, that's the real part of you, and that's what we're getting at here.
Yeah, you're right, because science and all of their conclusions can only come about from the effects of a person's dreams and not the true cause. They may discover from a personal level why each of one of us is having our nightly adventures and draw some conclusions from relationships accordingly, but overall they are lost to the true meaning of the original source. The modern authorities will always make a good show of what they are doing with all their complicated high-tech equipment that usually impress the onlookers, and so when they make any statements about what they have or have not discovered about dreams, it will all look so professionally done, yet for the most part, it is just a lot of hot air and good-sounding ideas because they are being paid to say so. They really have no idea what real freedom is. I'm not saying what they are doing is not important, as all of us need something to do while staying on this earth, but their findings are very limited, and they would take the time, if they would take the time with Reva Zartars and Paul Twitchell, they would soon discover a better and easier way to help themselves and others at the same time. Modern science has went the way of the intellect and the mechanics of industrial adventures and inventors. It would be better to creatively implement real guidance and a real education into their formula with what they are attempting to achieve. The present-day psychology of the human ego is based more upon who is better than the next person. As this shows up in all competitiveness this world is engaged in. So, with the strong attitudes of so many wanting their say to be more right than others, a great cooperation is eliminated to where only a select few become the authorities and everyone else must go along with their conclusions. Of course, each one of us can have unlimited freedom as each person learns to listen to the real guidance and eventually perceives the many wonderful levels of life this place. So much of the present day information on dreams came from the Chaldean soothsayers, but they were not the originators of the dream knowledge. The real universal guides were. The real guides never really taught their super knowledge of dream visions openly because of the brutal times in which they lived. As human history has shown, even the church did away with those who came to bring a divine message and possibly redeem a few people along the way. Jesus spoke of the many mansions, which are some of the various levels beyond the earth. But he was not referring to them in the literal sense, but as real positions. They already exist within each of us. Because life is so vastly endless, real guidance becomes a great necessity and supersedes anything of a belief type of conclusion. The real guides know the human ego cannot be trusted, and so the vital information was given to only a few at a time who could be trusted. This is also why your dream visions are so disguised so much of the time, because very few people have the capacity to be honorable and noble. As the outside public gained some information that was originally from a true source, the transferring of ideas from one person to the next brought about many altered interpretations and finally many watered-down stories like those found in most, if not all, ancient documentation. This is why the great reality, the all is, sends in new men to update the super knowledge of the true guides. Just like anything on this world, it is best to have the latest information. Don't you think that's true? We have to keep up. The world is just changing so darn fast.
Yes, it is. With the technology, it's compounded daily. So it's actually the technology is not of any use for us. We don't even need it, but we're led to believe that we need it, and it's good for us, and all that. There is better, cleaner type of technology. If it was let out, we could use that. But the way it is now, it's just harming the environment. So part of that is just everything is speeded up with the EMFs, the electromagnetic frequencies, and all the radiation. The body is like really wired and stressed, and that's why it seems like it's faster too. Everything is speeded up because the body is stressed out from all the impacts it's getting from the.
Yes, and dreams are known as far back in the beginning of mankind's history, when he began to produce manuscripts that told of his life and adventures, along with the mystery of his dreams. There has always been an interest in one's dreams until the rep systems became more controlling and domineering and began suppressing all the vital information on dreams and even keeping it hidden only for themselves. Because the demonstration of a person's dreams are enigmatic and veiled, most people sought someone who had the understanding of their meaning. The oldest book known on dream visions is the Egyptian Book of Dreams. It was produced around the approximate time of the 12th dynasty, 2000, 17,000 BC. This book is in the British Museum and was written by Baumel, one of our beloved guides. He worked with one of the scribes in the court of Sesostris III, Pharaoh of Egypt, to transcribe the knowledge of dreams at that time. Baumel is one of the many universal guides that work with the new man. As I have shared many experiences with him and others in my adventure series, The Return to the Real, those who become new students will meet Baumel, Revisar, and Paul. I've met Baumel. Oh, he's so wonderful. I never really liked blonde men until I met Baumel. I fell in love, really in love. Mm-hmm. He was my first love. Anyhow, dreaming, first of all, from this physical level is basically the unconscious mind's way of satisfying its secret and most hidden wishes and desires. What is contained in the subconscious of each person is what they have decided and created as their reality. Here is where all of us become our own truth. There are endless truths everywhere in life, and it is the right of each person to decide theirs. The confusions of what is being experienced on the earth at this time is each person is right in their own position. To the many reasonable minds of this world, what I am referring to would seem out of place. But once a person has real experiences and is able to position themselves in the true reality, the is, then they will recognize the ultimate value of free will. It may sound funny, but even those who are always planning on destroying others have the right to do so. I am not agreeing with what they're doing, but merely pointing to the fact that it's free will. As a person becomes more aware, they will learn about the natural reality of cause and effect, which is labeled as karma. As a person positions themselves with the true reality, they're no longer interested in any of the old destructive ways of the human consciousness, and they learn to evolve and excel themselves into what I term the real universes of pure light. And this concludes the bedtime stories with Lila and Val. Good night, all.